Well, you were up early. There's Laura.
Okay, I think we're live. Okay,
Hello, good morning. I am glad you are here. I see Laura is with us in the house and she's enjoying our challenge. So that's
yes.
great.
Oh,
How's
and there
everybody
you are. The switching is working
doing? Good. All
today.
right. How are you this morning, Shell?
I'm okay. I'm a little tired, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
a
see
little
if that.
tired too. It's been a long week, but
Yeah.
I'm glad to say I'm on the upward climb. I caught some kind of bug and I've been
Wow.
fighting that. And then I worked the elections, which is a full day. And I didn't want to give that up just because I wasn't feeling well. So I went ahead and did it, but probably wasn't the wisest move.
I hope you didn't give the crud to someone else.
Well, I figured by that time I was beyond being, because my fever and stuff was gone. It was just the jet lag part of it.
Oh yeah, that too. I had that too.
Yeah.
Hi Cindy. Hi Vicky. I'm glad you guys are here. Today we're going to be working on day 8, building. Is the prompt. And I'm actually going to combine body and building on my page because yesterday on my channel, I had a video that I needed to do for a company and I didn't want to compete with that. So I didn't do the prompt body. So naughty, I didn't do body.
Oh my. I ain't got nobody.
So I see that Peg is working on putting some backgrounds on her pages, which is a good idea. I'm
I
going to do that.
am. I am. I just, I did get my signatures sewn into my book. Remember, I started this book some time ago for all of those signatures that I was creating. And so I have this was the page that we did last week. And then I'm starting to build this up. And then as I go, I have backgrounds that I'm just getting into my book. And I'm not trying to keep this in any order. I'm just, because things are wet, I'm moving around. Now I already did this page for today, but that doesn't mean I won't do another page today. But mostly what I'm concentrating on for the first half hour anyway is just getting some of these backgrounds put into my book.
That's a
So,
good way to work.
hi, Thea. And
We've got
Ela,
Ela and
Cindy, and Vicky, and I'm so glad to see Franna. Everybody's joining in today. Hi, guys.
Marilyn and Cindy.
Great, great. Good to see you guys. So, how many of you are actually doing the daily challenges or trying to do some of them?
I know some of them are because I've seen the pages in Art Joy Sharing Facebook group
I've
and
seen
on
some
Instagram.
there. I've seen some on Instagram. We're getting some really interesting stuff.
Hi, Susie, all the way from the UK. So I finished up my book. Last week we were working on the covers in the first page. So I finished the inside and outside of my covers and got that done. And then, of course, I've been working on pages in advance. So I have quite a few pages done in here because I'm going to be traveling a lot. I already did travel and I'm going to travel some more. But this is my page that I'm working on today. And I'm like, I am actually keeping mine in order. So I'm writing on the page what it's supposed to be, because if you work ahead and then you work backwards and ahead and backwards, it gets confusing. So this one actually has something on the other side. And I'm going to be putting a background on it. And then I'll go from there. So this is the background I picked, which is a gel print with a stencil that I had bought. So I wanted to tell you guys what happened with my glue brush. Apparently, the link that I put in my video was the wrong size, and somebody ordered it and it was only 1 inch. So I do want to tell you guys that it's the 2-inch one when you order it. And I went back and tried to fix as many of the links as I could, because a lot of people have been excited about my glue brush because I'm excited about it, I guess. So it was my
And they do sell them in like a 3-set too.
Yeah, well, what happened was at that store there was the set of 3, and then there was the set of 1. And I had originally picked up the set of 3, but then Vicky wanted it, and so I decided really the only one I wanted was this size anyway. So I gave the 3-pack to her, and I got the 1-pack. So I thought that was the option, the 3-pack or the 1-pack. So on Amazon, I picked the 1-pack, assuming it was this. But it ended up being the more narrow one. So apparently you can get each size individually, but that store that we were at didn't have it that way. So that's why I got confused. Besides, it's easy to confuse me.
Well, and that's what's confusing a lot of times, because when you go out and buy something from retail locally, you don't always know what's on the market.
Yeah.
Just because they don't carry everything. They can't carry everything, you know.
Yeah. And I generally do not buy retail because I rarely go out. So
yeah,
it was different for me to buy it out there in that space anyway. And then I just got the wrong thing on my links.
Hi, Deborah.
People are rolling in. There's Laura. I don't know if she was here already.
Yeah, she was the first one here, I think.
Oh, okay. People who are on time.
Yeah, she's been doing pages. I know.
Yeah.
I know Vicky's been doing pages. I really like her little chubby body one. If you haven't seen that.
Well, really, that's the way we look.
Well, yeah.
Whenever I do my dolls, I try to make them heavier, my paper doll.
Well,
Okay, so
you know, at one time, chunky women were the thing. So I'm just hoping they go back there.
Well, you can hope, but I don't think it's going to happen. They seem to like anorexic women.
I think the days of Twiggy are kind of over, though.
Yeah, I think Twiggy had an eating disorder.
Yeah. But that's what I faced when I was a teenager, was the days of Twiggy. Yeah, Vicky, fat mermaids do rule. Too funny. I like that blue-green combo you got going there, Shell.
Thank you. Those are pretty colors in my opinion. But this is just going to be my background. I'm putting a light coat of gesso over it just to kind of calm it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit bright.
I think that's what I'm going to do with this one too, because I like the black and white pattern, but I think I need to knock it into the background a little bit. So
yeah,
I will be.
That's Canvas Corp Brands paper. I recognize it.
Actually, I think this one came from Deco Art.
Really?
Maybe they carry the same paper.
Canvas Corp might make it for them because they do make stuff for other companies. So.
But it's just another tissue paper, you know. Just another tissue paper.
I think I'm gonna have to dry this, so I'm gonna mute because I have a loud dryer.
Okay. That
so
works.
you talk.
All right. So I've just, coated my pages. I think I've got them all. Whoops. I'm just using a glue stick on this to put this down with. And this one actually dries clear, but it comes out blue when you put it on the page, so you know when it's dry. But I've just been going through and putting, you know, some kind of surface down. Because remember, these were just those paint chip books that I cut in half to make my signatures. So now I think I have all of my pages with some kind of covering on them ready to accept some artwork. And now while this one is still wet, I want to get a coat of gel medium over that. Hi, Peggy. Good morning.
I want to send a special welcome to Emma. That is Susie's granddaughter, and she's watching with Susie today.
Well, hi, Emma. We're glad you're here with us.
You know, most of us are old ladies, so it's nice when someone comes with a young person.
Yeah.
I would assume she's younger than me anyway.
Well, everybody's younger than me, so I have no problem with that. So does Emma do art journaling?
That's a good question.
We inquiring minds want to know.
Yes, inquiring minds always want to know things.
I know my granddaughter likes doing it. I gave her a journal a couple of years back, and she has all her own little kit supplies. She has a little tote that has her art supplies in it, and so she can take it with her if she wants to, and she enjoys doing her art. And then my grandsons also enjoy. You may have seen some of their work. They really like cartooning. My one grandson actually has a YouTube channel where he creates animation. His cartoons become animated, and he does a great job with that. So, yeah, it's a good learning tool for all ages. So I'll just let that dry down. I think I want to add some dark into this before I put on my layer of gesso. So let's get some other papers here. I've got this black, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that down. In a few areas.
Here and there.
Because I like the contrast. And, you know, today's word is building, which I printed out the definition. And the definition says to form by ordering and uniting materials by gradual means into a composite whole, construction, birds building a nest, build new hospital or school. You know, so I mean, if you're having problems with these words, sometimes looking up the definition helps figure out where you're going to go with your page. So I am building just by constructing a page. So it could be any page today. It doesn't have to be anything specific, because I am building a page.
Someone else pointed that out, something like that. I don't know if it was building, but I saw someone talking about that in Art Joy of Sharing, that their page didn't seem to reflect what the word was, but the process of the page was what reflected the word.
Yes.
Why can't I find the end of my washi tape?
I think that's where, you know, your imagination comes in. You don't have to be so literal. You know, use your imagination and let it go where it will, and you may be much happier with your end results.
Sometimes I think deeply about what I'm going to put on a page, and other times it's just the thing that came to me.
Yep.
Whatever the first thing was that came to me. Because we all hear a word and think of something immediately. They even have games doing that, you know. Word association games.
Hey, Beth, good morning. You have snow?
Ew.
Oh, it's on its way. Okay. All right. Well, I thought you'd be working. Beth and I took class together. So she's one of my art journal buddies. When we
Hi,
were
Martha.
in Wisconsin doing classes with Mary Beth Shaw.
Awesome.
So
I'm
I think
going
that's
blind.
probably enough of that. And while you're switching back there, I'm gonna heat set this.
Okay. So I'm planning a couple different things for this page. Right now, I'm building a kind of a city sky type of a thing, skyline type of a thing out of washi tape over my background. And then I have other images that I'm going to use that also go to that same type of a idea. But I thought it would be fun to use washi tape. I said in my other videos that I'm trying to use stuff that I don't use as often because I have lots of piles of things that are hoarded and I should use them. So I noticed that I'm getting a little bit used to doing the same types of things over and over because they're the things that I enjoy, like collage and things like that. But it's a good idea to vary it a little bit. So I'm using up some, well, not using up, but using some other things on my art journal this round, trying to anyways. I still keep falling back on some of the same things that I like, but also the book that I'm using it is, of course, it has pages that need to be covered up, and the easiest way to cover something up is to put paper over it. So I do a lot of that. But oh, this one's made out of fabric. This washi tape, it's not made out of rice paper like they sometimes are. I guess that means I have to peel the back off. And it's a little bit, it's got a little bit of threads on the edges. It's kind of weird. Weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
Yes, who even knows where these washi tapes came from? I don't. There we go. There's a back. Get that one on there. So it's just kind of looking like tall buildings, and then I'll put some of the brighter colors in front of those for some shorter buildings. And that's how I'm building my buildings. Because it's all about building, right?
It's all about building. Yep.
Building buildings with building.
Hey, Candy, how you doing this morning?
Hi, Candy.
So if you guys don't know, sometimes if you're having trouble maybe with a little thicker paper or something, if you just spritz the back of your paper before you put it down, it's going to adhere much better to your page and not have that rumply stuff going on. So that is a Mary Beth Shaw tip. And I learned that from her, and I thank her for it because it has helped me a lot with putting stuff on these surfaces. So I decided before I put the layer of paint on that I would add a few more of these text elements because I can and I like it.
You can do what you want.
That's right, because I'm building. I'm building.
Yep, you're building buildings. Stay down, you silly tape.
Candy's another one of my buddies that went to classes. We went to St. Louis to take Mary Beth Shaw classes. So
Awesome.
I tell you, have classes, we'll travel. But we were doing Gwen LaFleur, I think, when we were there. Yeah. If you guys don't know about Gwen, check her out because she does some awesome stuff. She also is traveling through the Russian Ukraine right now and has gorgeous pictures from her travels posted on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And are they?
I've been
Okay.
seeing them on Instagram.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Makes me want to go.
Yeah, me too. I suppose they probably have timeshares in Russia and Ukraine.
Well, I think most of her travel was by bus and train. She was going all over the place. I don't even know how long she's gone for, but it seems like a good long while. But I was amazed at the one she put up this morning of that mosque with the turquoise blue dome. It's like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. So pretty. All right, so I think I want to, instead of using gesso, I have this Americana chalky finish paint. And I think I'm going to use some of that because it needs to be used up and I like it and it's pretty opaque. When you talk about your different paints, you want to look at the opacity of them as you're using them for different applications. Some of the gals that I was with recently were talking about, they were so glad to learn the difference between opacity and translucent, and many good paint companies will have it right on their bottles of paint where it shows just, like Golden, they'll have a little black strip with white lines and they'll put a paint swatch on there for you so that you know exactly how transparent or opaque the paint is that you're going to use. And you can always thin it out a little bit, but you don't want to break it down too much. Okay, so here we go with my chalky finish paint. And you can see that it is very opaque. I'm going to use a wet baby wipe to knock some of that back where I don't want it to be taking over everything.
Well, this was fun. I made like a whole kind of a cityscape situation with these tapes. Now I'm going to use some fluid matte medium over it. Another thing to talk about that people might not be thinking about when they go, you watch a video, says use matte medium. Everyone's using the matte medium. Well, do you even know what matte medium is? First of all, it's paint without any pigment in it. It's just fluid paint without pigment in it. But the word matte means flat. And so if you put, like what I'm doing right now, some matte medium over some of these shiny tapes, I have a gold shiny tape, and I have a silver shiny tape here, and this one has a little bit of silver on it. It's going to dull that down. It's not going to be shiny anymore. So if you really need to retain your shiny stuff, you should have the option of also having a gloss medium as well as a matte medium. People don't think about it. They just reach for that matte medium to glue everything down because we think of it as a glue, but it's really has other purposes besides glue. And, you know, sometimes acrylic paints will be shiny on their own. And if you want to dull down a shiny paint that you don't want it to be shiny, you can put matte medium with it. And that was the original purpose of the stuff. It wasn't exactly designed to be a glue in the first place. So I'm going to give this a dry.
That's part of it, is that if you are working in journals, your pages stick together many times. And usually it's the gloss paints that do that, not your chalk finish or your matte paints. But remember that you can wax your pages. You can put a sealant over your pages to keep them from sticking to one another. Okay, so I've got a nice layer on here. Now I think I want to do another layer, build this up some more. And I think this time I want to go to a color. So I think I'm going to stick with these chalk paints. I have this other chalky finish. This is called Treasure. So I'm just going to do a little stenciling with some of that chalk paint. And this is too big. I think I'll take my scissors and whack this down. These are just those from the dollar store cutting mats that I use as a protector between pages to keep things from overlapping. So I'm just going to cut that back because it's way too big for this book. And I have any number of big ones already. So I don't have to have a great big piece of plastic there. And then this, you know, you can use these for your palettes too. Anytime you've got extra piece. Let me pull out here a little bit. I can. Doesn't look like my, there we go. All right. My zoomer was not zooming the way I wanted it to. Okay, so yeah, you can use these as a palette, you know, if you don't have a craft sheet down or whatever, these work fine for that. So I want a sponge. These are those soft SOFFT sponges, and I like these for stenciling just because they're harder than a normal sponge. This is what I like to use. So let me get a little bit of this paint out. I have a palette knife. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that paint and put it out on my mat. And then when you stencil, you just want to have the smallest amount of paint on here because you don't want it to gush underneath the stencil. Now I need to pick a stencil. So let me grab these and see what I've got. These are mostly Stencil Girl stencils, I think. Let me see who this is. I'm not sure who that one is. Doesn't have a name on it. Sometimes these things come with, you know, a little thing like this that says Apter and MOA8. That I know is a Stencil Girl product. Sometimes you get them and they don't have anything on them, and so and if I was doing a better job, I probably would have labeled those so that I know where they came from. Sometimes I take these things and cut them apart too. because if they're in a bigger thing and I just want to take these for travel, I'll do that. I'll just cut them apart. And then this is just one of those little binder ring things that you can get to. I just punch a hole in the end, and it has a little screw end, and then you can take them on and off of here as you like.
That's what my, are you looking at the cable ones? That's what my book is made out of. The cable binder rings. The cable binder rings is
Yeah,
what my
cable binders. Yeah,
that's what my book is made out of this time.
Yeah,
because
I like
bought
them
up to do
better
exactly
than
what
the
you're doing.
kind because they stay put, and you can get a whole package of these really cheaply. So I'm just going to pull a few of these out. Not sure what all I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to pull a few of these different stencils out to use. And I think I'm going more with, because these things are more geometric or square or rectangular shaped, I think that's the direction I'm going to go. When I work a page, I like to stay kind of in that same theme. You know, if I'm choosing a particular shape. So this has, you know, even though it's a hash mark, it has that same type of thing going on. This is the same type of thing going on. So as I'm looking at stencils and picking them out, you may wonder, well, why is she picking that one? Well, that's what I'm doing as I'm looking at stencils, is I'm figuring out what I want to use on my page. And then
I'm shell shading.
Stenciling is kind of a straight up and down pounce, so that you're not pushing paint in underneath the stencil. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm only going to do a portion and get some of that on the page. And then I'll move it to another area and I'll keep going. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Are you guys out there in the audience getting feedback?
I don't hear any at all.
Okay.
And there's no noise in my house at all. There's no one here.
No, I'm hearing myself on your computer. So as long as they're not hearing it, I'm fine with that. I just didn't know if I needed to turn something down or off.
I can turn my volume down. Now talk.
Now they're into coffee. All right. Good morning, Gina. Yeah, it's early for you, isn't it? 2 cups? Yeah, I might need a third. I'm only on my first one. Cheers, my friend. No feedback. Thank you so much.
Just tea. I don't drink coffee. Okay, I think my buildings are done. And I put all the shades around with a blue Faber-Castell pit pen, which has a brush. And want to go for black, I wanted to stick with the blue colors. So that's my little building city. And I have a different element to put over the top of it. So I'm going to work on that next. You still stenciling, huh?
Yeah, just taking my time, enjoying the process.
Enjoying the process, huh?
Yeah. I'm not in a rush.
I'm going to cut something out. So I don't enjoy cutting things out. So that's just, yeah.
I like stenciling. To me, it's calming to just, you know, sit and pat, pat, pat all those colors down.
So did the feedback stop when I turned off turned down the volume?
Gina says there's no feedback. And then Vicki said, yes, I heard it. So I'm not sure where we are now.
Oh. Well, are you still hearing it? Because I turned the volume of my computer down.
Just very slightly.
Okay, well, if it gets any quieter, I won't be able to hear you.
Yeah, right. I think we're okay. I just want to
Okay.
make sure that they're not getting a bunch of reverberation. And I'll try to talk softly.
And carry a big stick.
Yeah, or something like that.
So I have this piece I want to put on my page, and this was printed out from the internet, from a royalty-free site. And then I used some liquid matte medium and a small brayer over it to seal it, because I do not have a laser printer. I have an inkjet printer, and that ink on the paper will smear. So I sealed it up and let it dry this morning before I started cutting. Obviously, I'm cutting now, but this is a robot, and I was thinking about, because I'm doing 2 prompts, body and building. This is a robot body that's been built, and building your body, building your mind was what I was thinking of. So that's the reason that I picked this image to go with my city. Someday we may all be surrounded by something like this, a robot who helps us, maybe, or maybe they'll take over the world.
Yeah, I like all those sci-fi things where the robots are kind of taking over.
Yeah. Well, she looks like she's not really ready to take over the world yet.
Well, back in my day, it was Jetsons, when they had their own little robot. But she was a housemaid, and she had her little cap and her apron, and it was a different sort of robot than what we're seeing nowadays.
Meet George Jetson.
Yeah.
His boy Elroy. So I'm going to put her on in front of my city somehow here. And I'm going to use the matte gel medium to put that on. I alternate between gels and liquids, and there's reasons for all that. So when I collage, I put something on the background and something on the back of the piece that I'm putting on most of the time, unless it's a very thin piece. So doing that. This is just printer paper, so when you put the stuff on it, it starts to curl up like crazy. This is just plain old printer paper. Oh, not quite all the way down there, lady.
So I'm just using up the paint I had out here with another stencil and just applying it to my page so that I'm not wasteful. And just using a baby wipe for that process. Now I still have a lot of paint in my baby wipe. So even though I've been able to do a whole nother page with a stencil in that, and then there's my page that I started out with, I'm going to come back to another page. Now this one you can see has some more circular images on it. So I'm going to grab something like this, and I'm just going to use the paint that I have on my baby wipe and put a little bit of something down. Evidently there's not much paint left. Oh, well, because I'm working on the wrong piece. Haha, okay. Fooled me. Try that again. There we go. So I'm just tying things together here with color, with what I've got left over. And working through my journal. So I'm going to dry these things a little bit, and then I will be back.
Were we both drawing at the same time? It's got kind of quiet out there. So this is my fine liner with some white in it, and we'll just see if it's going to work. Oh, it is. Well, good job, fine liner. I think I'm going to just outline my robot with some of this titanium white fluid, and then maybe I'm going to blend it a little bit. Probably am going to blend it a little bit so that it's kind of like a halo around
Maybe
my
they're
robot.
all working along. Maybe they're all elbow to elbow with paint.
That would be good.
Okay, so I kind of
semi-dried
semi-dried the pages that I have. And now I have this much in the way of layering. And I want to add more color to this. So I'm going to look at some of the things that I have, and I want to start. I don't think I want another stencil right now. I think I want to start with some, let's do some Quin Gold, because that's kind of a translucent. So you're going to be able to tie things together and see things that you're pulling together with that paint.
Quin Gold is such a nice paint. It's almost kind of brown, but I still like it.
But it's more on the orange side of brown, I think.
Yeah. It's just a really nice neutral paint that just brings things together.
It is a real nice color to tame things down, to pull it together with. So I'm just going to get some of that on there. I still have a lot of pattern going on, which I like. But I want to, you know, pull it together with color a little bit. And then I will also grab another translucent that I like a lot, that I think works well with what I've got going on here. And while I've still got this right here, I'm going to grab another baby wipe. And this is the way I work. I work back and forth. And many times I'll have more than one journal out as I'm doing this. And I'll, you know, instead of having a wet back to my page, you know, I might pick up some of this and just, you know, add it in. And then it's not a waste. Got another little color shading in there. But the next color I'm going to grab is another media paint, which is this green gold, another one of my favorites. So I'm going to get a little drop of that, and it really doesn't take much at all. It doesn't take, let me see if I can show you guys. It doesn't take any more than that little drop right there. That's all you need.
Highly pigmented.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the media line.
Yeah, yeah. But I also like the translucency because you can see everything through these paints. You can see all of my layers. And because I'm building layers, that's what I want, is I want to be able to see those layers as I build up my page here. And that is what is so cool about these translucent paints is, you know, you're adding color, you're getting depth, but you're not taking anything away from the design that you're creating there.
Not all the media line colors are translucent, by the way.
No, they are not.
There are some that are opaque, but a lot of them are.
But these
definitely
are
the green gold and the Quinn gold both are.
A couple of my favorite go-to ones for doing just this. Okay, so I've got this much. I think I might want a little bit more there. I'm also going to pick up a little bit. I want to see what this burnt orange is like. See how.
Quinacridone burnt orange?
Yeah.
It's the color of brick. I used it yesterday.
Well, see, this is looking very orange, and I wanted something that was a little bit different. So I'm going to get something a little bit richer in here with that, just by adding that burnt orange into the page. Okay, so I'm liking that. And I will dry again.
Oh, okay. I was about to dry too. We can't both dry at the same time. So I finished my halo around my robot so that it stands out from my buildings in the background. And I just used my fine line applicator with some fluid titanium white in there, which is basically what's inside of a Posca pen, which you see me do this often with a Posca pen. And this fine line applicator just has this little needle that goes down in it and keeps it from getting clogged, which is nice. And you can purchase these bottles in a set of 2 on Amazon and then fill them yourself. And that just helps it stand out. And then, of course, I blended it with a water tank brush, which probably was one of the best inventions in the world, I think. These things, whether it's this brand or this brand or the other brand, they're great. So the next, I'm not sure what the next thing, I know I want to dry this, and I'm just waiting for Peg to be finished drying so that I can do my drying. And I think I'm going to go around the edge of it with some ink to give a border, probably this manganese blue archival ink. We'll try that.
Yeah, go ahead, Shell. I am just looking for a stencil here. Imagine that, me looking for a stencil. So I think most of you here know about our Art Journal Habit hashtag. But if you're following along and doing these prompts, please use the hashtag when you post to social media. Remember that the prompts are all listed on Art Joy is Sharing, which is our Facebook group. And then we can find what you've been doing and see what everybody's been up to, because I'm enjoying the process, watching what you guys are doing as much as what I'm doing. So be sure and let us know when you are doing this. Now remember, I had originally, there's the stencil I was looking for. I had originally done this on a previous show where we were kind of mind mapping and talking about, how you can lay out a page and how you can take it in different directions. If you're having difficulty with that sort of thing, go back and look at a couple of weeks ago when we first started all of this, and maybe this will be helpful for you. I have, because this is number 8, which is building, I have this piece which also has these colors in it. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. This is a napkin, which would blend in with this really nicely. And I am kind of liking that on this page. So I need a brush with some water, because I don't want the whole image here. I want to isolate the portion that I'm going to use on the page. So just with a napkin, a little water on the brush, you can trim out very easily the piece that you want to apply. So now I have that, and I could very easily, put that down on the page. It's going to blend in with the coloration I have going on. But before I do that, I want to make some other decisions. So I have this grid stencil, and I'm going to take another color, which is that, what did I do with it? I had it out here. Too much stuff on the desk, I'm saying. All right, who ate my chalk finish paint?
Was not me.
Are you sure?
I don't eat paint. It's not good for you.
All right, if you say so.
I'm making some labels.
Are you?
With my Brother P-Touch to go on my page. And then this one will pretty much be done. Trying to make them simpler this year.
Uh-huh. Well, if at first you don't succeed, go get a different tube of paint.
Have you found it yet? So this new tape that I got from my Brother P-Touch, it's not the Brother brand tape. It has a split down the middle. It makes it so much easier to peel. So bravo, whoever made this tape. Hopefully I didn't make any spelling mistakes.
I am brain dead, so I'm going to use something else.
You didn't find it?
No, that's okay.
Where
So
could it
I've
have
just got a
gone?
little sponge applicator, and I've got some Americana. This is their premium Americana Titan Buff. And I'm going to use that on my page here.
Laura had to go off and get her flu shot.
Oh, yeah. Go get that. I've been dealing with that all week. Everybody get your shots. Just saying. Don't go through what I've been through. I meant to go do it, but I was waiting for the shingles vaccine to come in. Don't wait for the shingles vaccine. It won't be in until February. And flu season will be over. Okay. So I used my grid stencil and just kind of placed that into the background. And I just did that with this. These are cheap little, I think you can get these at the craft store, but these are kind of nice too. These little sponge roller thingies. I guess they're called a brayer. Duh, my brain isn't working. Can you tell? And then I have this napkin glue, which is a sealer finish also from Deco Art. And I'm going to take that napkin, and I don't know if I want the whole thing or if I just want a portion. Let me refine this a little bit more. I'm going to take this piece off and we'll put it down in sections. Let's see what we get. So I do like this one here. I think I want more of the blended area in here, just in case I end up not putting something else there. So you see I'm starting to refine a little bit. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. So I'm going to use this napkin deco page to put that down with. And this is more fluid, so you don't have as many issues with, many times you have issues with your napkins tearing. That's why this product is really good, is it's very fluid and it works well with napkins.
It's magic.
It works.
It actually works. I tried it yesterday for the first time.
And how did you like it?
It's magic. I thought, how could it be any different than, regular fluid matte medium, which is what I've used on napkins before.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did to it, but once it starts to dry, those wrinkles from the napkins go away.
Yep.
Magic.
And I do like to
I think
use
I'm done with my page. So I'm going to have to move on to a different page.
All right.
So here it is for you guys who are looking. Building buildings, building minds, building bodies. I got the buildings in the background. I've got the robot being built in the front. And this is actually 7 and 8 because bodies, because I didn't do a 1 for 8, 7, I mean. So that's that. I'm going to have to start a different page.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
We've still got time left.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, Dana. Would you like to come and clean mine? Because it's a mess.
I don't think I've said good morning to Barb either. Good morning, Barb.
someone asked me on my channel, when am I going to finally do that new studio walkthrough, you know, because I moved into this room from the smaller room. People, it's still not done. It's been like a year. It's still a disaster. Someday I will do a walkthrough. Someday.
Well, I think we have to have months that are not quite so busy.
Yeah. I don't know when
Because,
that's going to be.
you know, my studio is clean for a day. And if I didn't do the video that day, forget it, because it's a mess again. I mean, every time I do another project. And this fall has been really, really busy. You know, I did that 31 days of products with Birgit Koopsen. Yeah. And that was a challenge because I was doing everything else that I normally do too. And, you know, you had to be on top of it. And we were traveling, and yeah, then you have to pull stuff out to travel with. Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's just nuts. Okay, got that in there. Let's see. I'm going to work on. So, by the way, guys, for the next three Thursdays, there will not be any Art Joy of Sharing live. That's the 15th and the 22nd and the 29th. The 22nd, obviously, that's Thanksgiving. You guys will be stuffing yourselves probably, so you won't have time to watch us anyways.
Right.
And also, Peg is traveling. I'm traveling on the 15th, and I'm also traveling on the 29th. So just so you guys know, the next 3 Thursdays, no Art Joy of Sharing. So the next Thursday would have been the 15th, which is North. So I'm going to work on that page, since it would have been live if I wasn't traveling. And, you know, it's just...
Sounds like a plan.
The holidays are ramping up. People are shopping. People are, you know, and then December we're gonna do our lives, but we're probably gonna take it a little easy on our channels. That's what we discussed because we're both very tired. So what do I want to do with North? How much time is there?
We really want to enjoy the season with families and friends.
Yes.
And we want you to do that too. So we'll ramp it up again at some point, but you know, right now we're looking at, this is year end, and we're just wrapping up projects and doing what we need to do for year end.
I think I'm going to go with purple. Purple, purple, purple.
Okay, so I'm liking that. So now I still got this stuff on my desk. So I need to find another place to put this so it doesn't go to waste. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit on this other page so I'm not wasting my paint. And see, this is how I keep building up my journals, moving through pages, using products that I have out so it's not wasteful. And it just, to me, it's the best of everything that you can do, because you've got multiple pages then, and you know, if I'm taking this journal with me, these backgrounds will be dry, and then I'll have something to work on. Okay. So now that this is at this stage, I want to do a little bit of Oh, let's see. I've got some high flow, and this is going to have to be where I'm thinking about, I got to set this aside to dry. And if you get to these stages, you know, and you're putting this stuff down, it's going to take a while. You have to think about, you know, am I ready for that stage? I think I might also want to use this definition in here. So let me get I've got my little tear ruler. I like this one because it has 3 different surfaces. This is from Westcott. It has this decal edge, it has a bigger decal, and it has a straight edge. So if I'm tearing things, I can pick what kind of edge I want to tear. So I can get it up here where you guys can see it. And I can just pull that towards myself, and you see I get a nice decal edge. And get this one down here. Not sure if this is going to fit on there very well. I have to tear the edges some more.
So I'm going to start out this page. The only thing I can think of with North is there used to be this song, and I think I'm not sure who sang it, but it was about Canada. And it said, "Take off to the great white north, take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off." Have you heard that song?
No.
No?
Sing me some more. Maybe I'll remember it.
You heard that song? It's Only Me. It's probably from the 80s. So I think I'm going to make a mountainous, wintry, northern-ish page because somebody in the chat was talking about how they live in Canada and it's about to snow there. But I'm going to use purple instead of blue.
I'm definitely not ready for snow warnings. We got down freezing, which was enough for me. Thank you very much.
Well, you see, I don't experience snow, so to me it's a little bit exciting and pretty.
But you got mountains. You can go see it.
I could drive up to Flagstaff if I really wanted to see it. You're right, but so I have this girl. It was one of those fashion magazine prints, and she's going to be my winter goddess because she has kind of that same shape as a mountain. And she's going to be peeking up, and then I'm going to put mountains of paper here, and then probably the lyrics or something. I don't know. I can't believe no one's heard that song. And I don't know why it said "It's a Beauty Way to Go" because that's weird. But those are the lyrics. I swear.
I believe you.
It's a beauty way to go. It might have been those comedians, those 2 Canadian comedians. Maybe that's why no one's heard of it. But what were their names? I don't know. It'll come to me.
You got me at Canadian comedians, so somebody else will have to help you out there.
It was in the 80s, and was one of them named Bob? I don't know. They were funny, and they had a couple songs, and like they had a Christmas song, and they had all kind of Canadian things in it, like toques, which is apparently a hat of some sort.
We'll have to ask Laura. She's the Canadian in the crowd.
It's a real thing, I promise.
I believe you. It's just, I don't know. So I decided I was going to distress this up a little bit before I put it on my page to make it blend in just a little bit more.
I think the name of the song is Great White North. Now I'm going to have to look it up on my phone.
Hey, Bradford says, what about North to Alaska? No, thank you.
I know that song.
Don't
I
want to
know
go
the Great
there.
White North song. Nobody believes me. You all think I'm nuts.
I don't think you're
It's
nuts, or
really
you wouldn't be able to sing it.
Huh?
Got the tune from somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up on my phone right now. Then we'll have the answer. Great
Yeah.
White
Well, I
North.
wasn't listening to anything. What I was
Bob and
listening
Doug
to
McKenzie.
at that time, as I was still in college and running back and forth with my kids, and so all of my spare time was listening to books, having people read me textbooks.
The comedians are named Bob and Doug McKenzie. They're from Canada, and they're the ones who sing the song Great White North. So if you wondered if I was crazy or not, I can prove that it exists. Ha! Right there.
So there.
Great White North, Bob and Doug McKenzie. Take off to the Great White North. Take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off. That's how it goes.
Okay.
They were funny. They made jokes about things that Americans don't say.
Well,
Like A. I don't say A lot.
A?
A.
No, you have to have that upward inflection. A?
A. That's right, A.
Yeah.
I think they must have been brothers since their last names were McKenzie.
Yeah.
Let's see. I need some more paper. This one has
Okay,
these.
got that put down. So now I'm gonna just build a little something here with my black tip. And when you do this, what I recommend always is to take your tip and, you know, squeeze a little bit down, make sure it's flowing before you go to your page, because you can have a disaster in no time. Just saying, I might have done that a time or two myself.
We usually speak from which we understand because we have done it.
Because I have flubbed it up.
Collage is fun. I keep losing my brush underneath the paper. Oh, you got out your fine liner also.
I did.
I see this now.
Because I need to define my building.
I think it's a good plan.
And I think I will even do a few things here to add a little more interest. And here.
These look a
And
little
so
bit more
now,
like pyramids than they do mountains.
this is going to have to dry because that fine liner is going to take a while. And let me tell you, I've stuck my hand in more fine lines than I can mention.
Time to switch books.
Probably is time to switch over and do something different. So we got about 15 minutes.
You can probably just glue, well, no, that's the same book, so
Well,
I was
I
going to
need
say
to
you could
think
glue more papers
about,
down, but
I need to think about what next page I'm going to go to. So this can come out, this can come out. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh, hey, Becky. Glad you're here. Dana says, looks cool. Now I can see the depth. Yep. Peggy knew
so
my
what's
kid's
going on in
brother.
the chat?
So you weren't alone. Ela just posted her building. Oh, you're ordering pine nuts. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, somebody must be making pesto.
Yum.
Is that another awesome page, Shell? So she's going to get 2 for the price of 1. I'm just, finishing this thing up. And I think, once this dries down, I will probably come in with a dark color and do some edging on here. So I might just try to dry this a little bit while Shell's finishing up her page. And maybe I can show you that. But my page is so wet, it's limp. And that's why sometimes you need to let these things dry overnight. So I'm going to mute for a little bit, Shell.
Okay. So I'm still just gluing on some mountains here. Very not realistic at all, mountains. And I will be, of course, defining them a lot, so you'll be able to see what they are. But I probably won't be able to finish this today anyway. It's just a start. Just my background for north. Some gluing. I think these mountains have the northern lights. That must be what's going on, because they're all shining with these type of colors, which aren't your typical colors. So it's probably northern lights, because it's the Great White North. And we're all going to take off to the Great White North because it's a beauty way to go. I'm not sure this is what Canada looks like, but I've actually never been to Canada, so if you want to invite me, I would like to visit. It's probably enough mountains. See, I've got one here, I've got one here, like that. Gonna trim this a little bit. Purple and pink mountains. Ugh, I've got a pile of messes here. And then my goddess is up here looking over her frosty realm. Did you get it dry?
Well, I think the majority of it is. There's still a couple wet spots, but I'm going to try to work it anyway. You know me. Live on the edge.
Yeah. I try not to dry those if I can help it because the paint starts to bubble.
Yeah,
Because it's
I
that
use
thick paint.
the slow dryer, not my heavy
Uh-huh.
tool, because you're absolutely right. You don't want to get too much heat on it, and I'm moving it the whole time. So what I do is I'll use my Ranger heat tool, which is less heat. It's more dispersed, between, you guys don't know the difference between heat tools. This is more focused. This tool is more focused and it puts more heat in one spot. This one disperses it more and it blows softer. This one blows harder. So when I do a page like this, I will tend to go to a heat tool like this, or I also have a hair dryer like this that has a cool setting on it. So I will use that many times when I'm using paint rather than a heat tool because the heat will make the paint bubble. But as you're doing that, you just want to, keep moving across the page. You don't want to hold it in any one spot because if you heat that paint up, it is going to bubble.
Yeah. Sometimes you want it to bubble. Sometimes it's interesting to have that effect of texture, but other times you're just like, no, don't bubble. I'm obsessed with the Pentel Pocket Brush.
Yeah, they're fun, aren't they?
Obsessed. Just saying. It makes the best, most awesomest shading ever when you use it with the Aquash water brush. It's just yummy. I did find out that it has refills, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I found out it has refills.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get a new brush when you're too.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. No.
Yeah. Obviously, I have not used up my inks yet.
Well, and the other brush that Pentel has that's awesome is their water brush like this. And I actually have filled these with other fluid inks. So like if, a lot of times these companies are coming out with these brush markers with ink in them, but the brush markers are terrible and the ink's flowing all over the place. Well, if you've got good ink, like I have pots of ink, I can transfer the ink into this and I can use this brush to do my painting with. So those are another Pentel product that's really, really good. So I did get into some black paint that was a little bit wet, but that's okay. I wanted to darken my edge anyway. It's just a journal page, guys. Just another journal page. It's not, it's not like that huge canvas that I worked on for a whole month where I'm just saying, oh, I just ruined the whole thing. But you can see the difference between something that I have edged with a darker color and one that is not. And it just kind of brings your eye in. And that's why I kind of like to do that. I might even go along, the upper edge. I should have done this before I put it down on the page. Upper edge. And there I hit the paint again where it was still a little bit damp. It's okay. I'm just going to roll with it. Let it become part of the design.
Yep. You meant to do that.
Oh, yeah, right. And I keep making it worse, so there we go. It'd help if I wasn't using a wet wipe, wouldn't it? Duh. Okay. Try a dry one now.
A dry wet wipe. Oh boy. That line went a bit crazy.
Let's see. I had. Just blend that back a little bit. And make more mud. Okay. Leave it alone, Peg. It'll dry.
You just can't help it, can you? A little bit of a dark line right there. So now you see my mountains, right? Got my mountains. Probably as far as I'm going to get. Let that dry, and I think we're pretty much done with the show. Because it is almost 11 my time. So.
All right.
Susie, the Pentel Pocket Pen Brush Pen is India ink, so therefore it is permanent. You can write with it, draw with it, go over the top with wet media, and it will not move. And it has cartridges. It comes with 2 cartridges with the pen, and then there are refill cartridges as well. So I hope that answers your question. It's great. And the combo of the Pentel Pocket Brush and the Aquash Water Brush is what made these really defined shadows, which I really enjoy. And that's permanent. I can go over the top of this and, do the whole thing. It's India ink like the other pen that I was using on the other page. That's a Faber-Castell pen that's like a felt tip pen that also has India ink in it. So when it's wet for the 30 seconds or whatever it takes for it to dry, you can blend it with your finger like I did. But then once it's dry, it's permanent. So India ink is the bomb.
It is the bomb.
Yes.
We like
so much better. Because it behaves kind of like a watercolor. You can blend it and stuff while it's wet. But when it's dry and permanent forever. So I guess we're pretty much winding down. Here's Peg's page. And I guess I put mine away. Guess I need to get it
I just
down.
used a little tree branch archival to edge with. And I'll fix that spot I messed up. But yeah, there it is.
That's a cool napkin. Really cool. And here's mine. Already attached to the book. So I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today. And remember, we're going to be off for the next three Thursdays, and we'll be back the first Thursday of December.
So thanks, everybody. We're glad you were able to join us today, and enjoy your holidays. And we look forward to seeing you in December.
Yes, we do. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye for now.